Okay, so I'm Grasswalker. Hello and welcome to Game 3 of Group D, the final group that we are completing for the group stage of the Dota 2 2022 Bot Masters. On your screen, you should be able to see the status of the group after the first little round of games. Everyone plays against each other once, which means each team plays 3 games, which means there's 3 rounds. Beginning the second round, and Valve, Default Hardbots and Sirius AI both have a win, Pub Sport Simulator and Ranked Matchmaking both have a loss. The game we're about to watch, on the Radiant side we have Ranked Matchmaking, and on the Dire side we have Sirius AI. So we are looking at a game where Ranked Matchmaking can try and claw their way back into this group, Sirius AI can extend their lead further. Let me just hide the state of Group 1. With that gone, we will start the lobby, tweak my display interface so that I don't have to see myself. And immediately, the Dire side picks up Shadow Fiend and Wraith King. Also a Grimstroke. These heroes do not have good win rates. Clockwork 2, I believe, has a negative win rate. And I think that's the first Ursa of the tournament. I might be mistaken, it's been a lot of games. Warlock on the Radiant side. That's a good choice. He's a very easy to play support. Ranked Matchmaking, keeping it simple, stupid, making sure that they get the win. Underlord comes out. First time we've seen an Underlord in this tournament. A couple of new heroes coming out, even though I believe at this point in the tournament, give or take, 65 of the 100 heroes have been picked, which is not bad, considering we've only had about 14 games or something? No, it's closer to 20 games actually. The Shrek and Skywrath get picked up, so we've got a lot of magical nukes coming out now on the Radiant side. They might be able to surprise a couple of these Dire heroes with some very quick pickoffs at the start of fights. Faceless Void! Faceless Void comes out! The Chronosphere, we'll see whether they're good, bad, a mixed bag. I'm excited for this one. These are some spicy hero pickups. We'll talk more about them once the lanes sort of reveal themselves. You have to imagine it's Shadow Fiend mid for the Dire side. Ursa should be on the safe lane, right? And then maybe a Wraith King as the off laner. Clockwork 4 with a Grim 5. That feels like the best way to kind of put that. I mean, you don't really want an Ursa on the off lane with a Wraith King in the safe. I feel like Ursa definitely wants that safe lane. It depends what he thinks he's going to be up against as well, I suppose. Faceless Void, definitely a safe laner for the Radiant side. No doubt about that, and sure enough he starts running that way. He's got a 5-pos Skywrath mage who's starting with a Null Talisman. Off-lane duo, the Shrek and Underlord, which puts your Warlock mid. I did not expect this Warlock to be mid. If he is, that can be very spicy. So, about the heroes themselves, Faceless Void hasn't been picked. Sky has been picked with good success. Warlock has been picked so much that it's hard to say if it's a successful hero, but I think Warlock's had a good showing this tournament so far. Leshrac and Underlord, they both feel like... I mean, the Underlord's definitely not been picked, I'm 99% sure. Leshrac, I think, got picked for 1 game, so there's not really enough data to pick off on there. We have Clockwork Grim standing in the safe lane. Clockwork Orb of Venom in the safe lane. So your dual off lane is Wraith King Ursa. These lanes from Sirius, I think, might have thrown the game. I mean, the Shadow Fiend mid's the only thing that's correct. We've got a fight breaking out. It's 3v2 in the river bottom. It's 3v2 in the river top. Skywrath Rage, we have to hope is going to be the first one so that we don't miss anything on the camera. He gets away, though. Meanwhile, let's see if we can catch the first one this side of things. The Warlock ticking away. No! We panned away from it! We might see the second blood. Clockwork slowed up by the Lightning Storm. Underlord didn't skill anything for the early fight. Radiant heroes absolutely decimating the top area. Ooh, the TP home from the Clockwork. He's only a couple of inches out of the base. Oh, Leshrac, you don't want to tank any of those. 3 bonks of the tower, and all of a sudden he's at 10% health. Okay, Ursa's TPing top. They're repairing their lanes. But it is a Warlock mid, which is very spicy, because Warlock does well in bot games. Fatal Bonds, you can normally link 4 or 5 heroes together. The Shadow Word, it's fine. I mean, bots can't really use it wrong. If you use it on an enemy, if it kills them, use it on yourself, it heals them. I don't think Upheaval is a very good bot skill, but they don't really seem to skill or use it. And then the offering is huge, because again, you can slam down these golems on 2 to 3 enemy heroes, and there's a lot of grouping up that happens. Skywrath Mage tanking some creeps. It is a Wraith King Ursa offlane. The Ursa TP'd to the Dire tier 2 just to run back to lane. This is an awful choice for your offlane. I mean, Skywrath should be able to keep both of them back whilst Void farms, and we're not watching Void farm yet, but Void's thinking about farming. Meanwhile, Underlord, I do not think can die in this lane. It'd have to be something special. He'd have to be horrifically out of position, because Clock and Grim, neither of them really do much damage, and Underlord is very tanky. I mean, he reduces damage taken by 5%, and that continues skilling up 15, 25, 35%. If you're hitting 25% less, factoring in the armor, that means Grim hits for like 25? Clock would hit for also 25? They're hitting you for 25 and you hit back for something like 70 or 80, you put down a little Firestorm. They should be fine in this lane, but the Underlord running away for a second, now he comes back in. Shrek, get a couple of denies going.
Dire's bottom tower
Off the mark on the Earth Spike. Is that what it's called? Earth Spike? Split Earth. God. Alright, Shadow Fiend, 10 denies up in the mid lane, dumpstering this Warlock. We were worried about if this Warlock was the right pick for this game, and it looks like maybe not.
Dire's bottom
Sneakily picks up a range creep there, but Shadow Fiend's level 4 in a bit, Warlock's level 3 in a bit. This mid lane's getting stomped right now. I mean, how is Warlock going to stop him from CSing? The guy hits for 90, Warlock only hits for 60. Could, if he wanted to, deny almost every creep. We've got a jump going here onto the Skywrath. Concussive shot onto the Ursa. I would not like to see Void use Time Walk to initiate ever again. You want that as your escape and your heal and your sustain in this lane, especially against Ursa. Thinking of diving in on the Skywrath. He has a stun in 5 seconds, but they stop chasing. Bash onto the Ursa, puts him low. Time Walk. Ooh, the stun! Cheeky. Mid lane, you got Fatal Bonds, creeps to the SF. He just turns around, raises you twice, and you're low. I might send the Warlock back to base. Baseless Void farming up. Split Earth off the mark top. And this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, you've got your Rocket Flare, that's what it's called, and your Stroke of Fate, both used on the Underlord, and he just doesn't care. He's just eating a tango, healing by 10 a second, and still a Shrek who might be in danger though. Rocket Barrage. Off the mark, doesn't quite stun him. Stroke of Fate off too. And it's your Grimstroke that's dying. Shrek lives to see another day. Gives the Underlord a bit of solo XP. Oh wow, he might go in on this. One more right click and this Grimstroke would die. Oh! He puts him in a little chamber. What's it called? Pit of Malice. I'm gonna say Chamber of Suffering. Alright, having a look back bottom lane. Faceless Void having an excellent farm off. 13 CS for him. Clockwork's actually getting the better of the farm top. 12 CS to 9, although if Underlord gets these 3, they will be neck and neck. Gets one of them. Come on, get this one, Underlord. Okay, he does. If he gets this one, it means that he and the Clockwork are neck and neck, because these 2 waves were scheduled to meet. Shadow Fiend dumpstering this Warlock. He's level 4, he's level 6. I mean, it's 40 combined CS to the 8 of Warlock. Mid is, This is why you've got to send a mid-hero mid. Warlock can go mid, but it is not recommended. Grimstroke got him in the Pit of Malice. He suffers Chamberlain. Second kill of the game on the board. Meanwhile, Sky, Concussive Blast onto the Wraith King. He's running in. Stun in 12 seconds and a 50 mana. He doesn't have that. Ursa could catch with the Earth Shock. The Sky makes a couple of bad movements. The Ursa has boots. Sky doesn't. This might make all the difference. Ooh, that turnaround by the Sky was very sus. Ursa has him. Just click the Earth Shock and you've got him. Scared off by the tier 2. Meanwhile, Wraith King salving up. Got punched down and bashed by the Void. Void also off to a great start. So this game becomes a question of who is willing to put their team on their back and carry it. Void is a great hero for that. Shadow Fiend is also a great hero for that. Underlord running around in the jungle, not sure what he's up to. In terms of items, everyone's picking up boots. Most people are picking up like a wand, a null, a wraith band, orb of venom. Nothing big is coming out. No real items on the board yet. It's only the laning stage. Ooh, TP, the bash. I'm not sure if it was a bash, if they just crit him. More money into the pocket of the Void. 250 gold for him. He's got double wraith band. I love this. I love double wraith band for this Void. Bash, 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 bash. That is so lucky. Never mind. 12% chance 3 times. So the way you calculate that is you take the chance of it not happening and you times it by each other. 12 off of 100 is 88. 88% of 88, which is something closer to 75-ish. And then you take 88% of 75, so it's like 68. There was a 68% chance of what happened. So he wasn't unlucky. He was factually and statistically expected to survive there. The Shadow Fiend tread swapping a lot. I'm nervous because we saw a lot of tread swapping in the hands of a Slark, and I believe that was played by ranked matchmaking AI. I'm not entirely sure. And that was a disaster. The tread swapping was suicidal. He would just stand still and tread swap 100 times a second. SF, 41 last hits, 30 denies. This guy's a Chad, man. He is looking to take over this game. I mean, if you saw this in a pro game, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of CS. Good job, for example, maybe Dendy or something. You don't see that much CS in games that are 8 minutes long, like not very often. That's really, really powerful CSing, and the Warlock has not put up enough resistance. Void trying to farm up a storm, wants to finish off his magic wand now. He's got treads. Treads and 2 wraiths is going to put him up for a really beautiful mid game. Silence the Ursa, but he doesn't really have any spells, so I wouldn't worry about that. I thought a fight was happening top. I saw some odd behaviour. Underlord skipping the ult, that's spicy. And I'm not against that. If you're not going to make big rotations, move people around, don't skill the ult here. Oh, they're going in on him, but he should be fine. He's got a bracer, he's level 6, he's an Underlord. This is what we were talking about earlier. You're not going to kill that Underlord. Meanwhile, Ursa, kicked out of the lane. I'd like to see Faceless Void use his Time Walk just to heal up. Just to reverse some of the damage that was dealt. Chamber of Suffering onto the Clockwork. That's not what it's called, but it's quite funny. A bit of synergy there between the Lightning Storm slow, the Pit of Malice. It's a double kill up top. Underlord, what he lacks in CS, he's making up for in 2 kills. Oh yeah, 600 gold swing.
Dire's top tower.
Graph looks like a disaster right now. Have a look at net worth. Your top hero, it's the Chad Shadow Fiend. I mean, there's no way it wasn't going to be, right? Now he's beginning to rotate, finds the Warlock. Warlock's a little bit tanky, actually. Just plans to TP out.
Summoned for
Shadow Fiend, wasting his time a little bit. He is double the net worth of this Warlock. Mid, crushed to the dire side. But then, the other 2 lanes seem to have been won by Radiant. I mean, your Void is so far ahead of this Wraith King Ursa offlane. Are these heroes going to be relevant to the game? We watch Underlord die. Apologies for missing that. double damage on the Leshrac. Looks like he finishes off the Clockwork. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Now he's TPing mid. He wants to get the most out of this double damage. He doesn't have any mana to mess with this Shadow Fiend. Do they just drop the Golem? Maybe they should. Fatal Bonds onto nothing. Oh, there's the Earth Spike. I mean, if you're not dropping the Golem, you're not going to kill the Shadow Fiend.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Skywrath
attack.
out of position, getting chased down. Stun is available if they want to use it. Void. Would have loved to see a Chrono. Doesn't quite have mana. Maybe if he int swaps. Bash! Give him another bash. One more right click. Two more right clicks, sorry. Sky dies on the other side of the screen. The stun! Creates enough space for the Wraith King to run. Now Void just... Ugh, that was an awful time walk. Horrific, truly. Warlock refusing to CS the creeps in the mid lane. Passing up on 150 gold. That could help you stop being half the net worth of the Shadow Fiend, but he's not willing to do it. Bit of Malice. Onto both of them it managed to catch. Firestorm's up. Ooh, split Earth inside the storm. It's a disaster. Clockwork's running the wrong direction. Tower's gonna finish him off if nothing else.
Radiant's middle
And it's
tower is
another
under
double
attack.
kill for this 7-1 Underlord who says, I'm gonna start taking over this game. Even the Leshrac that lane top is worth so much. What the
Radiant's top
dire
tower
side
is
wanted
under
to
attack.
happen, which is Ursa and Wraith King getting huge as we see Ursa die, that's not happened. Instead, Underlord Sky are the ones that are huge. They had the crushing offlane that dumpstered the entire planet. Now we see a mixed bag. 3 heroes coming bottom. Void, he turns, but Sky's here. Sky doesn't have enough mana. Void's already used all of his abilities. Stun in 3 seconds, not needed. Stroke of Fate finishes him off. Stun now onto the Sky. Double kill for the Grimstroke,
Only
who
in
is your
death is your true
second most farmed hero in the game. That's not who you want that value on. 500 gold for him. Meanwhile, got a push happening top. Wraith King TP's in. He wants to defend it. He's got 2 lives. Underlord says, listen, we've got a lot of kills. Now I want to start
Dire's
taking
top tower
objectives.
is under attack.
Warlock finally still not farming mid. He's just sort of watching the creeps die to the tower. He did get 1 CS, but I'm not going to factor that as a farm. The Shrek getting way too deep. Ooh, Glock hook shots to small cam. Huge split Earth, stuns 2. Might give the Leshrac a chance to
Dire's top
escape. He's
tower
running
is under
weirdly.
attack.
Rocket Barrage is on the creeps, but there's 4 heroes here. He is going to get cleaned up. Ult and TP from the Ursa. They want to defend mid too. They can see 3 Radiant heroes trying to push it. They're not doing any damage to the towers. Creep wave, Fatal Bomb stuck onto the Ursa. Ooh, it's huge! They drop the rockets. The Shadow Fiend is his first big fight. This is his chance to make something happen. Void Chronos 3! The Golem, it's burning them down, as is the Firestorm. The Golem, it's living through all of this. It's going to club that Grimstroke. Trying to zoom out, see everything that's happening. The Sky can't get away, cut down by the Wraith King, and all in all, it looked like it was so good for the Radiant side, but it just wasn't in the end.
And it's off.
Your title is
There was a lot of stuff happening in that fight.
That's 3 keys.
That's a huge comeback for the Wraith King. It gives some gold to the Clockwork, who is the 1 position somehow.
Radiant structures are fortified.
They dropped the rock a little bit late. The Fatal Bonds was completely wasted. That, I think, is the difference maker in that fight, because your Warlock's Fatal Bonds was used on Ursa and 3 creeps. That's not going to do anything. If that Fatal Bonds is on 3 or 4 heroes, and then all of that damage happens, you see all of those 10-20% health heroes, they just melt. It also felt like Void put down the Chrono and then kind of died in his own Chrono. Oh, Void puts down the time dilation. Oh, he gets stunned. Right click. Here comes the Solar Flare from the Skywrath range. Void jumps out with a clutch heal. Concussive Lightning and the Blast from the Skywrath. Wraith King doesn't have a second life. He looks dead to me. And he is.
Dire's middle
Now
tower
let's see if they
is
can
under
get out
attack.
safely. They caught 2 kills. Oh, an excellent pushing Firestorm here. What the heck is this thing called? Arcane Bolt. God. I know exactly what they all do, but you never
Is under attack.
sit there and use the names of this stuff. You're not in a game and you're like, oh, Skywrath, use Arcane Bolt. See Ursa is stunned, split Earth, hit a Malice. Ooh, hook shot on 3. They're under the tower. They're tanking the tower. Void jumps in. He wants a bash.
Radiant's top
Ooh, the
tower is
rocket
under
flare
attack.
is just off the mark. They're just tanky enough, and all of them are going to get out on low health. Oh, that hurts so bad if you're the Clockwork. And now Clock's bashed! He's in the solar flare! He's dead! He's in the solar flare! It's Mystic Flare! He comes down from the sun. It makes me think that's what it is. Clockwork's dead. They jump in on the Shadow thing. They bash him during his ult! Now he's fucked. Ooh. It's the Void that dies, though. Shadow Fiend slips away. Ooh, Skywrath trying to slip away at 1% health. I feel like all these heroes are so low. Split Earth way off the mark. Ooh, Stroke of Fate. Double kill for the Grimstroke. Another Stroke of Fate hits. This isn't going to end well. Triple kill, it looks like. Golem gets dropped! Fatal Bonds? He's silenced. He can't use it. It's double king for the Wraith King. Double king. Wraith King, does he have ult? Not yet. Ursa, trapped in the pit. Oh my ult, he uses little pig pole and runs. Clockwork jumps in with a hook shot. He's getting right click down. They're fighting under the tier 1. A couple of big raises for the Shadow Fiend. He does miss one of them. Underlord runs in, gets the last on the Ursa before sacrificing his life, and I think that was... I think everyone on the map died. I mean, Ursa's not counted in there. Underlord's not counted in there.
Is under attack.
Ooh, Leshrac running in. Not keen on
Dire's
that
bottom
positioning.
tower has fallen. Dire's
Ooh,
structures
don't dive
are
to the tier
fortified.
1. What are you doing? Leshrac, look out! Look out! What are you chasing for? And now, the moment of peace and quiet. What does the game look like? Well, it's a 1k lead for Sirius AI. We've got the top hero in the game is still this Chad Shadow Fiend. Next up, Underlord. We've got Jump in here. He's thinking about using the Chrono. He doesn't really need to, though. The Shadow Fiend's already dead. That's the most important hero in the whole game. So he's already used his ult. He's very susceptible to being bursted here. Arcane Bolt, bash, Arcane Bolt, bash, and he's dead. It's an easy 2 pickoffs. Void's about to bump into the Wraith King, who gives him the crit. Rocket Flare comes in, but Void can just heal it up and then start jungling. I love this Orb of Corrosion pickup. The Void is like, it's time to early game fight. And their whole team is about it. Rocket Flare and a Stroke of Fate trying to protect the middle tower. Clockwork thinks he's going in on the Skywrath Mage, and he is with the backup of the Wraith King. Crits him down. Oh, Radiant finds 2, and then Dire finds 1. Good God. Non-stop action when it comes to ranked matchmaking AI. Void jumps in. There's the Chrono! What can they do in it? Leshrac?
Impossible.
And they get 1 kill off the back of the Chrono, but it's a pretty lackluster Chrono, to be honest. Void is in the worst positioning I've ever seen. You're walking around at 400 health, sir. You're a stun and a crit away. So having a lot of fun with this pig bolt. Whoop! Where did that happen? Top lane. I wasn't looking top. We haven't had a single fight top. Meanwhile, a fight mid breaks out. Skywrath Mage running away. He's low health. I'd love to see him just drop the solar flare. It's not the solar flare, it's the mystic flare. Stun, bonks him. Is he going to burn down? He does. But the Void clears up the first life of the Wraith King. Wraith King makes 2 little skeletons. They're going to harass the Void, but not do that much. Slow from the lightning. Ooh, he would have loved a bash on that right click. They're diving anyway. Jumps away with a bit of the heal. I'd like to see Void pick up Morbid Mask or Vlad's or something to help him sustain. He's beginning to fall away in this game. He was the number 2 hero. Ursa punching the Leshrac. He's inside the cogs, but that's protecting him from these 2 right clickers. Oh, there's the Golem, it's on 3. Void jumps in, bash onto the Skeleton King. He's got no ult. The leash joins the Golem to the Void. Golem, however, very tanky, very damaging. It's hitting the Clockwork. They're all fatal bonds to each other. That's a double kill, and the Skywrath cleans up the other.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Ooh! Where's your Shadow Fiend? He's jungling
Dire's middle
golems!
tower has fallen.
We needed him there in that fight. 4 heroes and the mid tower, and it cost them the Sky and the Void, which is sad for Void's game as he falls further now into the bottom 4 heroes. The people I thought were the 1
Dire's
positions,
middle tower is
your
under
Faceless
attack.
Void, your Skeleton King, your Ursa, are the 3 bottom heroes in the game. Oh my god, it's the Pit of Suffering! Shadow Fiend feeds a kill to the Underlord. Underlord's going deeper. The man has Vanguard Hood Helm. He doesn't give a shit about any of your damage. He's fat, he's a big monster, and he's coming for you. Puts the Pit of Malice onto the Ursa. He's giving him a couple of right clicks. Ursa ults just to be able to run away. Then he turns back in. Stun from the Skeleton King.
Dire's
You're
middle
tanky,
tower
but you're not
is
tanky
under
enough to
attack.
beat 5. And the Underlord does fall. That's unfortunate. The Underlord doesn't feed there. That's
Dire's
a
top
really
tower
good
is
looking
under
situation, killing off the Shadow
attack.
Fiend.
Dire's
But
structures are fortified.
2 top heroes, neck and neck. Oh lord, we've got Clockwork hooking onto the Warlock. Warlock has a mech. He Fatal Bonds the Clockwork to the Centaurs. That's not going to do anything. He's leashed. Here comes the Mystic player. It's shared between 2, but the Void's here, ready to right-click them down. It's a double kill for the Skywrath Mage. Ranked matchmaking AI looking like they want to win this game. And no offense to the dire side, but I think the longer this game goes, the more favored it is to the Radiant. Leshrac scales so well. Skywrath Mage, he scales so well. Warlock, if he picks up an Axe, oh boy is he going to scale well. Void is one of the best late game heroes in the entire game because if you chrono 3 heroes, those heroes don't matter. Their net worth doesn't matter. Void picking up a
Dire's top
BKB
tower is
now.
under
It might
attack.
be a Maelstrom, don't get me wrong, but I'd like it to be a BKB. I think Void's picking up beautiful items this game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
What else is spicy? Got a Kaya on the Skywrath Mage, half a BKB on the Void. Veil on the Leshrac. We've got 4 heroes TPing in, they want the Void. Hook shot way off the mark. Void jumps in! The battery assault, it messes with you. He's getting crit, he's silenced, he's dead. He should have used the chrono to get out, but he was trapped in by the cogs and the battery assault. It's just a feed. That's an awful chrono. Just because you see the opportunity to chrono 4 or 5 heroes does not mean that you should always take it. Now Radiant's in danger because they want to defend, but they can't. This is a
Radiant
huge death
structures
ball.
are fortified.
They could Fatal Bonds 4 of the heroes together here. Fatal Bonds, please. Ooh, the leash. Double bug, they're both silenced. Dire not willing to commit to that. That was very scary for a second there. Upheaval on nothing. Warlock, cancel that, you clown. They're chasing now. Stroke of Fate slows the Skywrath. Skywrath a little bit baiting them. They're tanking a lot of tier 1 damage and they're not attacking the tower. Ooh, here come the TPs. Everybody's respawned. Leshrac's here now. Bug silences Leshrac mid-split earth animation. Skywrath gets an ult, but it's a little bit messy.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Shadow Fiend way out of position, stuck in a Pit of Malice. And he suffers inside the chamber. I keep trying to make callback jokes to that, and I'm pretty sure none of them are landing. Radiant, 3 of your top 4 heroes. Warlock, Underlord, Leshrac. Safe lane Void, not having a good game. Wraith King is jungling, picking up most of the neutral items they can. Your Radiant side is also
Dire's
willing
middle
to use
tower
neutral
is under
items.
attack.
I don't think this is the right choice though. You want that Possess Mask on the Void. Void did end up going for the Maelstrom, not the BKB. I'm a little bit disappointed in that, but this tier 2 looks dead to me. I mean, the defense is on its way, but there's the first life of the Wraith King. In the meanwhile, can I zoom out enough to show everything? I'm not sure if I can. Drums. The stun and the bug chase the Void, but this is the final life of the Wraith King, and he is dead. Leash. Rocket Flare cleans up the Void, but he's not really the core. Warlock's running in. Can he make the difference, or is this fight going to be over before he gets there? He's not even running there! This Warlock! We needed him there for a 4-man Fatal Bonds. Drop the rock and maybe that fight's different. Instead, huge fight for the Dire. For some reason, the fight isn't really showing up here. Rocket Flare. Underlord slowed up. He's got the pit. He's got the thing. Warlock, please follow it up! Don't upheaval! Use any of your other spells! Warlock, no! Oh, I said earlier I don't think upheaval's a good bot spell. And he wishes he never skilled it. Fans of ranked matchmaking wish he never skilled it. They're throwing the lead that they had, and you can see that massive downswing. Skywrath looking to get a bit of D-push. Clockwork's tanking the tower. He might be low enough where the Sky wants to give him a bit of that flare. Void comes in. It's a 4-man Chrono. Solar Flare onto 2. Oh, they're dead. Here comes the rest of the Void. Solar Flare, triple kill for the Skywrath. None of his abilities are called Solar Flare. I cannot stop calling it that, though. Oh, now that was a beautiful Chrono. The last Chrono, awful. This Chrono, it was there. Skywrath had the damage to follow up. Normally, Skywrath's a little bit afraid to go balls to the walls and use everything he has, but if the enemy team's Chronoed, he may as well. He may as well just use everything. 2k gold swing in the favour of the Radiant side. And we see the throw, counter throws, all the way back up now. Void, he really wants this mid tower. It's only got 80 health left. That'll open up the Dire jungle, the outpost. They have wards all over the map. Both teams have wards all over the map. Sorry, I missed a kill. Skywrath inside of his own jungle. Who is messaging me? Push. Alright, Underlord. A cheeky high ground push. Let's see if he can get away with it, or is he going to get chased? Ursa jumps in. Clockwork has battery assault, but he's just out of range. He needs everyone to move out of his way so he can cast a hook shot. Oh, never mind the Underlord. He stands still. He's not activating his Crimson Guard. He should die here. The Ursa Blink Stomp, and that is a kill. Meanwhile, the Death Ball bottom. If you cast Upheaval Warlock, I can't be held responsible for my behaviour. Wraith King uses his stun to farm creeps, which means he is truly defenseless. First life bashed out. Yes, the shard. It's here. He respawns, but he's straight into a split earth off the Ag Shard of the Leshrac. Well, he is manning up, but that is so many. The golem now. Why? Why? Why would you call him then? He's already dead.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh. Warlock. I want to slap him. I want to find out where he lives, drive to his house, kick his door open, and give him a slap. He's playing like a Wally. Void gets caught by 2. He can't quite time walk out. He can. He finds a gap in between the battery assault. Oh, he runs back in. He wants to chrono this. It's up in a second. The hook shot! It lands on the Ursa! This Clockwork was not the pick. Ooh, that was a beautiful little play there. Time Walk instantly chased by the Ursa's Blink. Can the Void get away? Blink's up in 5. Void has another walk in 1 second, but the Blink will be there to follow him. There's the Blink. Only he used Overpower. Ooh, it's a little bit now. He uses the ult as well, but Void now is a second from jumping into his own base, and there's no way you can chase that far. Nice, cheeky little escape from the Void. Buys time for the Radiant heroes to position themselves to take the outpost. It's going to provide... I don't know what it provides, to be honest. I know it's a bit of XP every second. I don't really know, though. Shadow Fiend runs in. He's out of position. The Pit of Malice. Oh, the BKB. It doesn't really hold him still. It's immune to the Mystic Flare. Call it the right thing that time. Underlord pops all of his items. And he's just so tanky. He's under the tower tanking it. But he's still not dead even now. The tier 2s is still hitting him, but he doesn't care. It's not going to kill him. Underlord tanks through everything. My note on Who's Who just fell off my screen. Meanwhile, on the bottom lane. Meanwhile, on the top lane. Bit of Malice onto the Clockwork. He has Battery Assault. He has Cogs. That should be the end of this. So we're going to watch as they chase onto the Wraith King. He has 2 lives. Ooh, it wasn't the end of that.
By
The
my
Shrek gets a kill. Not sure on. Clockwork, he must have stuck around. As soon as you get that cogs... Ooh. Clock doesn't know you can deny your own cogs. Wraith King, he TP'd out of the fire and into the frying pan. He thought he got away from bottom, but top was just as dangerous.
I will rip you apart.
These split earths are everywhere this game. Die Hero's not finding a way to deal with it. He wants to get the outpost back, but wisely he realizes, ooh, actually, it's very dangerous. Huge split earth. It covers the whole lane. Shrek finds Ursa. Both of them happy to run away from each other. I think that would have favored the Ursa if they started manning up on each other. Underlord. The split earth from downtown. The Shrek left this area like 2 minutes ago and the split earth is still going off. Underlord, he needs something like an Atos so he can chase this down. Stun onto the Underlord, but he's still at full health. He does not care. Wraith King might have just done a stun to steal the outpost. It looks like he did. Meanwhile, Mystic Flare kills off the clock, but the Void is too deep. Sky Silence, he's leached to the Warlock's just casting upheaval. Forces himself in. Use the Golem, man! Or he uses it as he dies, but it's too little too late. Stop clicking upheaval and just bonds and offering them. Actually, wait, what happened? Oh, summons Golem on death. I'm like, wait, what happens? Go to an offering still on cooldown. When he dies, he summons a Golem. So Warlock shitting the bed. If he just casts Fatal Bonds and Chaotic Offerings, that's a massive team fight in the favor of the Radiant. But he just sits there and he just channels upheaval, and that's not going to help. It doesn't matter. No one cares if they're upheaved, especially not during BKB. It's getting to its lowest duration now for the Shadow Fiend. He's about to finish his Ags. Blast Rig up for the Necro. We're seeing the neutral item disparity beginning to grow. Void has found an Arcane Ring, but the tier 3s, Titan Sliver, Quickening Charm, these are huge. What is going on in this game? The throws, we've got the counter throws, we've got the counter throws. Underlord, hooked, cogged, getting right click down. You're very tanky, but the Shadow Fiend hits really hard. Hit of Malice, it will hold the Clockwork still, but that's not going to help you get out, and he's dead.
Not the strongest enemy I battle with.
Ooh, hey. Meanwhile, you've got an upheaval going on nobody. Skywrath Mage, he wants to kill this Grimstroke, but he might die for his trouble. Just lives.
Wash over this land.
A 1-for-1 across the map. You've got your core Grimstroke dying and your core Underlord dying. Dire Side, however, beginning to pull away with the net worth advantage. The gold graph really pointing in their direction. And look at the last hits. It's all Shadow Fiend. Then we've got 3 Radiant Heroes. I mean, the farm is good from both sides, to be honest. We've seen games that go 30, 40, 50 minutes, and some of the bots, they only have double-digit blast hits, like 10, 20, 30. This game, you got quite a few heroes. I'd say 4 heroes, basically, in 3 digits. The Skeleton King, he's not there yet, but he's going to get there. The Shrek, he's farming up right now as well.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Keeping in the Clockwork so far out of position. That was a nicely positioned Cogs, but he's under the tower. The Split Earth is going to pop off again.
Tower is under attack.
And that's going to get the kill for the Shrek. Meanwhile, Ursa picked off top. Void
Radiant's middle tower is under
DPing
attack.
this Wraith King. I think he's got 2 lives, and he does, but he's so deep that both will be lost. And there's nothing the Wraith King can do here. Bashed up, attacked up by the Void. It's the best part of a team wipe across the map. Skywrath Mage getting away from the BKB'd up Shadow Fiend, sorry. That's on cooldown now for 70 seconds. Might be on cooldown during the push. For the push, they have Chaotic Offering available. Radiant Heroes deciding what they want to do. They might take the outpost. They might run into Roche? I mean, if you take a cheeky Roche, I'm not against it, but... maybe should have just pushed with this catapult wave. 2 catapults hitting it for 80
Dire's
apiece.
middle tower is under attack.
If you had Void hitting this, I mean, this would have died.
Do it with
But it's Underlord all by himself. The Pit's there. Putting damage down onto the Ursa. Pit keeps them there.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Glyph is used on the dire side. I'd love to see Radiant Glyph.
Is under attack.
For my
Because it would clear out bot and it would push mid. It's like a dual purpose Glyph. Meanwhile, the Shrek, he's found the Grimstroke, but
Radiant's
who does
bottom
this
tower is
favour?
under attack.
Constantly silence the poor Shrek. He needs to hit the bug, not the hero. Stroke of Fate. That's another bug onto him.
Radiant's bottom
Lightning.
tower is under attack.
Split Earth off the mark. Shadow Fiend's here if he wants to help. That Split Earth lands though. The Shrek, he's so low. They're both so low. Neither of them die. Not yet, anyway.
visibility.
Radiant heroes. They want to push top. I'm not against it. You got the double wagon. It's a decent push for top,
Dire's
but you
top
don't have your
tower is under
Leshrac.
attack.
Slow onto the clockwork, but he's blade mailed. He catches the Skywrath. Oh, it's a chrono just on the Ursa. That's not what you want. They're hitting the buildings. They don't realise that Dire's pincering them.
Dire's top
Void, he
tower
spins
is
away to
falling.
nowhere, gets feared into the trees. Underlord, he's tanking, but thankfully he's tanky. It's 4 Dire. There's the Golem, finally! It's a huge Golem, but where's the Fatal Bonds? The Golem only does so much. It's not 5 minutes in anymore. The Golem and the Void cutting down into the Grimstroke. It looks like the Grimstroke will die. But, without the Shrek, 5v4 doesn't end well. Void is... not Void, Warlock, he's picking up the outpost, but he's going to end up dying because of this, I think. Glimmercape gets him out. No Fatal Bonds used. Gyrath buys back. I do not like that. Like, you're not buying back for anything. So all you've done is paid
Double
something like
damage.
1,000 gold to put yourself near the bottom of the net worth. It's just
Radiant's
not
middle
necessary.
tower is under attack.
Buyback triggered from the Underlord, but why? Ooh, burst on the Ursa. And that will lead to the death of this tier 2 if they just hit it a little bit, and they do.
Dire's bottom tower.
So that
has
is
fallen.
all of the outer towers now,
Radiant's
dead for
courier
Dire.
has been
Clockwork, he wants to defend against these creeps. He has double damage, that's a bit spicy.
Boom, there it goes.
Clockwork getting damage slowly, bit by bit. There's the Mystic Flare. They put the Atos. Clock's dead, but he kills off this guy because he has Blade Mail. It's unhealable damage. Void wants to defend 3 creeps mid. I would rather he just push with his team. Warlock channeling Upheaval on nothing. If you click Upheaval one more time, Warlock, I'm gonna scream. I'm gonna scream. Because he's about to get picked off by the Wraith King because he's standing out of position because he's upheaving people. Or stats himself in. But now they're bound together. This isn't really a fight that they want to be taking. Shadow Fiend turns up. Huge damage now. With the Necro Mastery and the Orchid, he just right-clicks so hard, I guess. Warlock wanders in. He looks like he's just fed. It's sloppy, sloppy play from the Radiant side. What is the upheaval? Oh,
My words of power.
why? Why would you just stand there and upheaval that? Run! Run away! Dire side, pulling further and further away. Sirius AI does not want to lose this game. They want to be 2-0 in the group stage. They don't want to lose to Ranked Matchmaking, who also has lost a game in this group. They don't want the group stage to be 4 teams that are 1-1. However, Ursa, he's split Earth up. The Leshrac, he's trying to fight 3 heroes, and he's kind of fighting 3 heroes. He is going to kill this Ursa. Ooh, no! The split Earth timing, a little bit off the mark.
Such a waste.
And now Leshrac's feeding too.
That was kind of
You can't do this, Ranked Matchmaking AI. It's just too sloppy. Void has Yasha Mjolnir, so if he gets a good chrono, he can massacre people. Skywrath silenced up. Void's in to back him up. Atos from the Grim. Atos on the Grim. There's the Solar Flare. Void, couple of right clicks, and they do get a cheeky pick off on the Grim Stroke. Void, he wants to clock, but he just gets hook shot. He doesn't have any survivability. Oh, he does! He does cheekily just get out in time. Oh, there's a chrono on 2, but all it is to get out. Wait, no, he's going back in. Wait, no, he's not in. He's not out either. Void wasting everything. Wraith King finds himself too deep in the base. Is this his first life? It is. He's dead. Heroes slowed up, but it's under the tier 4 they're fighting. There's a Golem. Who's that on? Golem runs in. It's burning them up. Clockwork, right click down. Void also right click. Oh, he gets a little bit of a zip away. The Wraith King, he just wants to run away, and it's a massacre. 4 heroes dead for the dire side. Where's your Ursa? Why are you that deep? Oh, an Underlord puts down the gate. I don't think they know how to use it. Maybe the way the gate work changed recently, I believe. Because now you actually put down a gate. Before, there would be a sort of an area around your hero and you'd bring people with you. Now you actually just spawn a Fiend's Gate. So I think if it was the old system, he would have basically tried to TP all of his team to bottom. There's a gem on the deck in the middle lane. There's an arcane rune at the bottom rune spot. The Shrek is trying to close off the options. Ursa does die here, and that, over the course of 2 minutes, is a 5-man wipe. Mid tower is low. This could be your first racks of the game. Ults, ults, ults. The Void will have his chrono by the time everyone's respawned. The Sky has his ult ready. The Shrek, he doesn't really have cooldowns. Warlock, he's not going to have his for a long time, but he's not really using it anyway. That Glyph successfully pushes the entire Radiant squad away. Void, just go in and hit it. There you go. There you go. Just hit it, because you can solo this. There's nothing stopping you. There are no alive heroes. Great job. Now onto the racks. Clear out the creeps. That works too.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
Now hit the racks. Come on. Get this racks. Get this racks. Come on. I'm not rooting for ranked matchmaking. I'm just rooting for good gameplay, and that is huge damage onto the clock. He's dead. And now you've got this very strange problem where you still got 2 dead heroes. Void, he goes in. His chrono's up, but he's going to die before he can use it. Buyback from the Void, leashing 2 heroes together off the Grimstroke. Oh, it's a massacre. They got the racks, but it's cost them their lives. Void, he didn't use his chrono. He went in with like 2 seconds left on the cooldown. They catch the Warlock, Atos him up, but he just Ghost Scepter TPs? No, that's not going to work. Golem spawned when he dies. We've got a lane of racks down. So it's still a win for the Radiant, but you might see the counter death ball mid. Especially with the DD spawning. Gem on the deck. If ranked matchmaking AI was scripted to actively jungle for neutral items, this game would be cruising to a ranked matchmaking win, because you can feel that they're an item behind, and that item is this neutral stash. Double damage Ursa, that's not the guy you wanted to have the DD on. But he is the only guy willing
Radiant's
to
middle
push.
tower is under attack.
They have a glyph. They're up in about 40 seconds, the majority of the team. Void pushing top, Underlord pushing bot. They're sacrificing mid a little bit, but Dire, they run away. They're too scared to commit to the push, and that's the difference. Void was willing to go for it, cost him his life, but he got the racks. On the other side of things, Dire, they're too afraid. Oh, he dodges the raise with a Manta. That's juicy. Looks like he's building a BKB now. He's definitely going to need that. And at the end of the day, your Radiant heroes are 5 seconds from being respawned. Dire side going for a cheeky Roche. Void got himself stuck. Cheeky Roche, not committed to. Deathball mid is activated. Everyone's here except for the Wraith King. Ursa running into the jungle. Ooh, very nice. The Stormcrafter kind of jungles for him. The Shrek! He finds some neutral items. They're big ones. Did he pick them up?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Death Ball, it's
Radiant
mid.
structures are fortified.
The glyph is there. Is it going to kill the catapults? I don't think it is. Your push is still very, very alive and healthy. Tower
Radiant's
falls.
middle tower has fallen.
Rax falling. Someone doesn't make a move in the next 2 seconds. That Rax is
Radiant's
dead.
middle barracks
Wraith
are
King
under
picked
attack.
off bottom.
Radiant's middle barracks has
The
fallen.
Shrek saying, listen, if you can
Radiant's
take on mid
middle
Rax, I'm going to try and
barracks
take your
has
bot
fallen.
Rax. But Sirius AI seems willing to throne this. Ooh, they jump the void. His BKB's not finished yet. He mantas. Oh, he's dead. Does he have buyback? He doesn't.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The Radiant heroes, they're just not positioned to defend.
Radiant's middle tower
The
is under
Shrek's
attack.
pushing bot. You've got 2 heroes pushing top. Dire heroes do run away though. BKB popped with the Shadow Fiend. He was scared of what the Skywrath Mage might do. But the Dire heroes, Sirius AI, they're looking to throne him
Radiant's
here.
middle tower has fallen.
And they're
Radiant's
just not willing to
ancient is
defend.
under attack.
Void Fed doesn't have buyback. Oh,
Radiant's courier has been killed.
It's
Dire's
tragic.
bottom tower has fallen.
the other 2 lanes reach the Dire base, but it doesn't matter, they got throned. Sirius AI gets away with it. A game that had throws and counter throws. Ranked matchmaking AI not looking like they deserve to be 0 and 2 in this group. But it goes to show how competitive the group is. I mean, ranked matchmaking AI would dumpster some of the teams in some of the other groups that we've seen, and yet they can't get a win. They can't win in this group. Group D, the real Shark Tank. Waiting for the post-game screen to come up. There we go. So as we can see, in terms of kills, it favours the Radiant side, but that's not the only thing that matters in a game of Dota. It went long, but it was action-packed from start to finish. Same as ranked matchmaking. The last time we saw them, non-stop action from them. Scoreboard-wise, that Leshrac was godly. The Underlord dominated the early game, but Leshrac dominated the early, the mid, and the late game. That guy was a champion. Split Earths were on point. I've got to give him the MVP. Skywrath did so much damage, got so many kills, but I'm feeling the Leshrac more than anything. On the other side of things, it's got to go to the Shadow Fiend. The man had something ridiculous, like 80 CS at 11 minutes, 39 denies at 10 minutes. Like, it's just crazy what he did to that lane. Warlock shit the bed this game. The upheavals were terrible. The Golem drops were average. The Fatal Bombs use was terrible. He laned terribly. The Warlock put ranked matchmaking in a bad situation because they won the other 2 lanes dominantly. You have to think, if this Shadow Fiend doesn't have such an excellent game, does Sirius win this? I don't think they do. I think this was ranked matchmaking's game to lose and they lost it because of this Warlock, as well as the fact that they didn't defend. If they TP'd everyone back to defend, maybe they could have held with a big Chronosphere, but they tried to split push both of the side lanes whilst they were being deathballed mid, and that's it. They lost the game because of it. So between Warlock and a little bit of faulty AI and faulty decision making, that's the loss. Here's your Skywrath, 56,000 damage, wow. But the Lushrac's not far behind. Skywrath didn't provide 100 seconds of stun duration, I can tell you that much for sure. On the other side of things, the Shadow Fiend not looking nearly as dominant as I thought he was. The Grim and the Clock doing just as much damage as him. Sirius AI completely let down by this awful offlane that they set up. Wraith King and Ursa, not the choice. Have a look at the graphs. You can see it begins to be a ranked matchmaking favoured game off of the lanes. During the mid game, we had some great fights, some great back and forth team fights. Sirius AI clawed it back. Then the counter throw, ranked matchmaking with a huge, well, not a huge, but like a 3,500 gold lead. This game was never at any point more than a 10,000 lead. It was so close from start to finish. Then Sirius cleaned up their act and they just kept taking great fights. They did get raxed. That's what this big spike here is, I believe. But then ranked matchmaking, they got the racks. That can help push out mid, but it's not going to keep mid fine. They just got too greedy. Player net worth, we can see that the Shadow Fiend was humongous during this game. 3 Radiant heroes, Underlord, Leshrac, both in the offlane farmed very well. Warlock, a waste of hero space, to be honest. That guy did not have any game. Multiple points we looked at him and he was less than half the net worth, and we can see it here. Shadow Fiend's worth 5.2 and Warlock's worth less than half. Warlock really not bringing anything to this game. The Shadow Fiend was, say, neck and neck with a hero like a Dragon Knight, and they were both at 3,800, say. This Radiant looks so dominant, but it's because the Warlock got trashed so badly. Warlock found the way back into this game. The Void also began falling off. You've got a Void who's worth, he's like top 2, top 3 heroes. He's worth like 5,000, coming up to the 20-minute mark. And then 10 minutes later, he's only worth 8,000. Where is his farm going? He's not picking up any farm. Dire heroes began clawing stronger and stronger, but the Radiant also sort of changing places. The Shadow Fiend is the guy who is always on top. I mean, every now and then Leshrac just cheekily gets up there. But overall, you have to say the Shadow Fiend was always on top, and then the rest of the heroes swinging around all over the place. An amazing game this was. Game of the tournament, potentially. We've had, I would say, 3 games that are genuinely amazing. S tier, 10 out of 10, great games. I'm really happy with how this is going, to be honest. Let's see how the rest of Group D begins to develop, and let's see if ranked matchmaking goes home. Despite these performances, when you've seen teams like Army Bots and Extreme Push slip through in weaker groups, ranked matchmaking, surely they can't be sent home. Thank you for joining me. We'll find out in the next game. Bye.